What's up, guys? Back again with another video. This episode, we're going to be learning about EJS logic.
I switched to time zone, but what do I know? Spending nights hitchhiking, where will I go? I could fly home with my eyes closed, but it get kinda hard to see, there's no surprise though.
Okay guys, so we're back. So sorry I've been gone so long. I've been busy with school and stuff like that. Plus my microphone was pretty crappy, so I got a new microphone, so hopefully I sound a little better. I don't really know how to use it though because I'm a noob, so yeah, sorry if it sounds kind of bad or something like that, maybe too low or something. But yeah, anyway, so like I said, we're going to be learning about EJS logic, which is basically, what I mean by logic is basically your JavaScript code logic, like if statements and loops. So basically that. So we're going to learn how to make loops and if statements inside of your EJS code, okay? So that's going to be really awesome. It's going to allow us to do some really cool stuff. And so yeah, so right off the bat, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get rid of this crap here. We don't need this, the name. And then we can go here to our app.js and let's get rid of the name here and name here. We were just providing another example if you remember correctly from last episode. So yeah, so let's go ahead and open up our our console here, and we're going to run the website just to check it out before we start. Okay, so we're here. We're going to do git bash, of course, because that's what I like to use. And then we should be able to run Nodebon, right? So let's try running Nodebon. Come on, buddy. Sorry if you hear like a weird, it sounds like a bird chirping, but it's not a bird chirping, it's actually my monitor. It's an all-in-one, and I took it apart a long time ago when I was building my computer. And then, yeah, so it's all jacked up now, and it makes a lot of weird noise, so sorry if you hear that. But anyway, so it says it's now online, so let's go ahead and check it out. I forgot what port we have it on. Oh, 3000 right here, okay, so we need to change this to 3, because 5000 is from our other website. Anyway, so, yep, we're on the website now, Illuminati Productions. Welcome and have fun. Awesome, okay. So, yeah, so that works. Let's go ahead and test out our other page. So, /game, we're going to test out our route, So, /game, and then give it a game title. So, we'll say GTA, and then game creator, Rockstar. Because Rockstar Games made GTA, of course. So, it says game title GTA, and then Rockstar, right? So, obviously, we have a good implementation of a EJS template here. So we're able to use EJS code to get our information from our routes and then hook it into our web page here. So hopefully y'all have a firm understanding of how that works now. And so yeah, that's pretty good, right? So we're gonna build upon that, right? So hopefully you have enough practice, like I said, you understand it, right? So we're gonna build upon it by making, yeah, actually we're not gonna make a new new web page yet. We're actually gonna add on to our other web page right here. So let's add some logic here. But before we do that, let's analyze why we even need to have, loops and logic inside of our web page, okay? So if we go to basically most websites that are dynamic, it has something like this maybe, where you have a bunch of different things basically, and they're all basically using the same template, right? So for this example, right, this is a gaming website, right? So it's going to have a box for each game, and the game's picture, and the game's title, and the game's genre, the game's creator. So it's going to basically have the same template for each game though, even though each game is different, It's all the same sized box, it's all the same font, it's all the same everything, it's got the stars. And so yeah, what you do is basically you do what we did with the this stuff here inside of our EJS page. We're going to take some data and then fit it into the template, which is our our EJS page, right? So if you don't understand what I mean, don't worry, it'll be really apparent once we learn how to do it, right? So another example, if we go to Fox News, the only real news website you should be going to, anyway. Just kidding. But anyway, yeah, so we have an example here, right? It's not just on gaming websites, obviously. So we go here, we have all these different little boxes, right? They're all the same size, all the same font, all the same color, just the pictures are different and the words are different because, they're different posts, of course. And so likely this is all fitting into a database or something of the sort, And yeah, so anyway, so that's just an example here. So we can close these now. And yeah, so let's get started, okay? So what we're going to do is create an if statement, okay? So let's say if the player goes to, if they search the game /Fortnite and then /Epic Games, if they search that, let's say that something, pops up saying, a special message pops up if you go to Fortnite, right? So I'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead and create that. So let's say if they go to the game Fortnite, so let's type it out. If and then oops, title, right? Because title's being fed into our EJS page right here, right? So title is equal to Fortnite, then you're gonna wanna, what do you want to do, right? So let's say if the title is equal to Fortnite, then we'll say something like, we'll display a message, a p tag saying we just provide a description for the game, right? So description, and then I'm gonna copy this right here. I have it saved, and then boom. Okay, so it doesn't matter the message I have. Okay, it's just the point of you know, being able to do this right. So you'll see in a second, right? So this actually isn't valid right now. So if we go ahead and reload, this is gonna, you know, provide a little error kind of thing. So it's just showing up as regular text, right? Because, you know, that's how HTML works. If you don't surround it with any tag, it's just gonna come out as basically a p tag. So basically what we can do with, you know, obviously we want to turn this to JavaScript now because we're using if statement. So remember, if we want to turn HTML code into JavaScript, we just surround it with our special EJS tags, right? So that is our opening tag, okay? And then we're going to do our closing tag, right? And then we're going to go to the next thing here. So our other piece of JavaScript code. So any piece of JavaScript code, of course, you want to surround with the opening and closing tags for your EJS, right? So then let's reload here. So we get a giant error, right? So why do we have an error? Well, actually, whenever using EJS logic or EJS, you know, like if statements or you know, for statements, you don't use the %sign, okay? I mean the equal sign, right? As an opening tag, you just use the same tag for opening and closing, of course, but these are reversed, of course. So if you see what I mean, we just removed the equal sign. So why do we use the equal sign for like this but not these, right? Well, the difference is whenever using variables, like JavaScript variables inside of your EJS pages, then you want to use these equal signs with your opening tags, right? That's what that's for, okay? So that's for displaying variables, but if you want to run some actual code and not have it displayed on the page, then you would use this, okay? So remember, equal sign is only for displaying variables, basically, okay? So that's why that is, alright? So yeah, so let's go ahead and reload now, see if it works. So it says game title GTA, game creator Rockstar. Okay, so it doesn't exactly work because we didn't actually type in Fortnite, right? So let's go ahead and try that. So Fortnite, and then it actually doesn't even matter what game creator we choose because we didn't actually say title is equal to Fortnite and creator is equal to Epic Games. So of course it doesn't matter what we put for this, but anyway. So yeah, it works now. So whenever we go to the game title Fortnite, it'll say description here. But rather, if we go to a different game, like something random, right? It doesn't show that. It doesn't show that, right? It shows nothing because this if statement won't be valid unless the title is equal to Fortnite, right? You know, it's basic JavaScript. I'm just trying to get that in your head, of course. So let's say we want to provide a else statement, okay? So let's try and do an else statement, okay? So so we're gonna have an else statement here, and then so let's say if it's not equal to Fortnite, then else will be another description, like description. We do not know what this game is, so we don't have that game saved in our little, you know, theoretical database, I guess you could say. So we can then have a %sign, closing tag, I don't know why I call it %sign, EJS sign, I don't know. So anyway, if you just look at this one more time, we just have our if statement here, right? And if the title is equal to Fortnite, if they type in Fortnite in the URL, then this will come up. But if they don't, if they type in a different game, then this will come up, okay? Pretty simple, right? So let's go ahead and reload. So awesome, it says description, we do not know what this game is. But if we go to Fortnite, of course, then it says that. Awesome. So that works, right? So now you know how to use if statements inside of your EJS code, okay? So what's a real life example on websites of this, you know, using if statements? So if we go back to one of our websites from before, if we look here, some of them have the genre name Arena Combat, but some of them have something different, like Dungeon, RPG, Point and Click, Stick. So how come these have these like names on here, but some of them don't, right? Well, that's because if statements, right? So it's going to look in the database and it's going to read it and say, okay, this is an arena combat game, okay? So it says if arena combat game, then display arena combat tag, you know, something like that, right? So that's why that is, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. You know, it's nothing really crazy. It's not really crazy concept, you know? So anyway, so let's go ahead and look at, you know, let's make it even better, right? So let's go back to our app.js, right? And we're going to make a whole new page, right? This is going to be our own, you know, page where, okay, let's go back one more time. If you want to go back to a website that you just closed, by the way, a tab, if you close a tab and you want to go back to that tab, all you got to do is do Control, Shift, and T. That will bring the tab back open. So that's really cool, by the way. So anyway, so let's go ahead and make our own little web page where we display all our games inside of our website, right? Because eventually we're going to build up a website that displays a whole bunch of games, right? We can play games on it. I think that's what I want to do, right? So you can make any kind of website that you want to, but I'm going to be making a gaming website for our example series, right? Or for our EJS series, right? So, yeah, so let's go ahead and make that web page, okay? So we're going to do app.get, and let's go ahead and call it game list, because, you know, obviously it's going to be listing all of our games, and of course have a slash here because it's a route, right? And then we're going to do our callback function, of course. You know, you should know all this by now. I forgot it a little bit because I've been busy for a while now. So yeah, so that's what that is, right? So now we're gonna have something. Well, before we do that, we're just gonna display the web page, of course. So res.render. I cannot type. So res.render, and then we're gonna display a web page called gamelist.ejs. Okay, so this will do that. And then we're going to send it something like, you know, before we send it stuff like variables, we're going to send it in array, okay? And you'll see why we're going to be sending an array. You'll see. So we're going to be sending an array, like I said. So let's go ahead and make our own our own array, right? So what is this array going to be for? It's going to be a list of all our games inside of our website. So basically it's going to be a little database for us, okay? So we can keep track of all the games that we have on our website, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to make our games list, okay? So this is going to be an array of objects, okay? So const games is equal to, you know, that's the array sign, of course. And so this is going to be our first object, so title, Fortnite, and then creator, Epic Games, okay? And then we're going to go to the next object, and we're going to say title, Dirty Bomb, creator, splash damage, title, Battlefield 1, actually we'll do Battlefield 5 because that's the new one, right? Creator, EA, right? So that's it. We can have as many games as we want, of course, but we're going to start with 3 for now, just to keep it simple, you know? So this is our array of objects, and each object is basically our game, okay? And the game comes with some information inside of it, so we can grab the title of the game and then the creator of the game, of course, okay? And so later on, we could have more stuff, maybe like the game's rating, the genre of the game, how popular the game is, that would be the rating, of course. You know, all kinds of crazy stuff, okay? So yeah, so we can use this now, and so let's go ahead and send it to our EJS page that we're about to make. So games list is equal to games, I guess you could say. So basically we're sending this variable here, which is, you know, an array. It's an array variable, I guess you could call it. We're sending it to our EJS page, right? So let's go ahead and create that EJS page because we didn't actually create it yet. So we're going to call it games list, of course, or game list, role, okay? And so inside of that, we're going to do a basic template, HTML5, right? Let's get rid of this. We'll call it game list. Okay, cool. And so we'll say something like, this is a list of all the games we have. Awesome, right? Okay, and we're gonna make this a little shorter here. Boom. Okay, give it some space. And so yeah, so let's go ahead and go to that web page just to make sure we did it right, of course. So we're gonna go to /game list. Awesome. So our game list website or web page actually works now. So now, how do we display every single game that we have in our little array, right? Our little database, right? So we could try it, just by displaying the variable that we sent to our EJS page. You remember we were sending this little array variable to our EJS page. So let's see what happens if we, display it, right? So we'll do our opening EJS tag, make sure you have the equal sign whenever you're using a variable that you want to display. And then we'll give it the name. So it's called game list, capital L. I think it's case sensitive, it should be. And then your closing tag, right? Awesome, so let's reload here. And we get an error. Okay, let's see. Game list is not defined. Maybe it wasn't called that. Oh, games list, plural. Okay, cool. Sorry. So this is a list of all the games we have. So it didn't quite display it how we wanted it to. It says object, 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 because of course it's an array of objects, so it's just going to display 3 objects. So let's try being more specific here. Let's say gameslist.title, because we can access, the different variables inside of an object, right? Because that's how objects work. So let's try that. No, it doesn't work. Interesting. Oh wait, it's an array, right? So we have to tell it which one we want to access, right? We have to tell it which title. So we'll do let's do Dirty Bomb, right? So how do we access Dirty Bomb? Well, it's an array, of course, so it's 0 based, I believe, in JavaScript. So 0, 1, 2. So let's try that. 0. Hopefully I did that right. It's been a while. Awesome, so it works. Fortnite, but we didn't actually do Dirty Bomb. So of course, if it's 0 based, it'll be 0, 1. So if we want to access Dirty Bomb, we'll do 1. Okay, if we want to get the title of Dirty Bomb, we could do something like precision sign games lists. What do we say? 1, of course. Sorry, my mind drew a blank. And then creator, right? Is that what it's called? Yeah, creator. Awesome. So we can then do that, and then we need our closing tag, reload, and then also awesome. So we get Dirty Bomb splash damage. Okay. So obviously this isn't very like advanced, So this is kind of stupid. We still have to type each individual game name and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of repetitive. So we want to do what this website did and just display every single game in our little database, right? So then it does all the work for us, right? It's dynamic. So whenever we update our database, it'll automatically update the games on here every time we reload, of course. So let's go ahead and try that, right? So how do we get it to display all these games? Well, we can use a for loop, okay? So it's just, some simple JavaScript, right? So we're going to have our opening EJS tag here. We're going to say for var I is equal to 0, of course. And then I is lower than games list dot length. This is, very simple JavaScript, so if you don't understand it, maybe go to one of my JavaScript tutorial videos, check out for loops, and yeah. Or just take a second to pause the video and see what I'm doing. Okay, and then we're going to have a closing tag here, because on every line you have to have an opening and closing tag. Don't forget that. Okie dokie. And then so, we're going to have one here. Okay, so it's going to have a for loop. It's going to run through basically, it's going to run as many times as this array is big, right? So it's going to say games list.length. So the length of this games list is going to be 3, right? So that means this is going to iterate or run or loop 3 times, okay? So, simple JavaScript, of course, right? So, okay, cool. So it's going to display every game, right? That's what we want, at least, right? So let's go ahead and make something here. So we'll do h4. Oops. Okay, h4. And then we'll say game. Okay. Awesome. And then so we want to have that for every game, right? And then for every game, we also want to have a title, or a game creator, right? So h5, excuse me, game creator. And yeah, so every time we iterate through here, 3 times, because we have 3 games, of course, it's going to display this for every single game, right? It's a template, right? This is our template for every game that we're going to display, right? So like this one has its own template, right? It's going to have a title, it's going to have a game created right here. So that's basically the same concept, right? So if we reload here, it's going to have 3 of these, right? Because we have 3 games, right? So the only thing that we're missing is the actual game title, that we want, So let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's add the game title. So we'll do our opening EJS tag, right? Because we're going to be displaying a variable name, of course. And then likewise, since we're displaying a variable name, we're going to use the equal sign. So we'll do games list. So we're going to access the array, and then we're going to choose, whichever one we're on inside the loop. We're going to access that one, and then we're going to access the title, right? And then we're going to have a closing tag here, and there you go. And yeah, so the syntax formatting is not highlighting it because it's all jacked up. But anyway, this is valid code, of course, so let's go ahead and reload. And now it shows the game title for every single game that we have. Awesome. So likewise, let's go ahead and do that for the game creator. And what was I going to say? Well, forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, if you don't understand this, of course, it's all very simple JavaScript. You should know this. So maybe go research. So reload, and then you have every game creator now too. So awesome. So yeah, so that's really cool now. So we have basically a list of all the games on our website, basically, right? So that's really cool if you think about it, right? So we have our own little database here. It's kind of simple, right? But eventually we'll have a giant database with, maybe thousands of games or hundreds of games, like these guys have, right? So yeah, so obviously the styling of the website's not as advanced of this, of course, because we haven't actually done anything. So I'm gonna pause the video real quick, and then I'm gonna add my own little styling, and I'll be right back. And keep in mind, I'm not good at CSS, so it's gonna look really bad and really basic, but y'all get the point. And then later on, we're gonna be adding a template to our website or something like that, so it won't look ugly forever. We're actually gonna make this into a really good website, okay? So don't worry. So I'm gonna pause the video, and I'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, I know that looks really bad, guys, but yeah, there we go. So each game has its own little box now, with its own title and with its own author, basically, right? So that's awesome. So let's go and test this out one more time. Let's go ahead and add our very own game here, right? Let's add another game, So we'll do title. We'll call it, what's another game that's really popular right now? Oh, man. Let's just do anything like Madden or something, right? Madden and the creator, I believe EA, I don't freaking know. EA Sports in the game. Okay, anyway, so reload here, and then now Madden shows up, right? So awesome. So that works too, So yeah, like I said, every time we add a thing to our little database here, it's gonna update it. So yeah, so I know I rambled on a lot, but I wanted to get all these concepts inside of your head, because this is all very important. And yeah, so like I said, my mic might be sounding really bad right now, but at least it's not as bad as before, I don't think. We'll see when I start editing the video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you have any questions at all, leave a comment, and I'll try and help you to the best of my ability. And maybe someone else will help you if I can't. But, I'm a super genius, but of course. Anyway, also, so if you go into the description of the video, in the description of the video, you'll see a link, and then I'll have this website up here. It's going to provide all the code from today's episode, okay? So make sure you check that out. Maybe make sure you bookmark it onto your bookmarks, right? And so you can use it later on as a reference if you need help, if you can't remember the code for, adding loops or adding for loops to your web page, right? So anyway, I know that was a lot, so if you want to like sorry, if you like the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and peace.